Well, in our very first story, media persons covering an awards ceremony for electrical wiring contractors Tuesday protested a delayed start of the program by boycotting it. They complained the Energy Commission, which organized the program, made the media and invited guests wait for more than an hour and a half.
The program was scheduled to start at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, but it was not until journalists started packing out at 11:30 a.m. that organizers scrambled to put themselves together. But the invited journalists refused to budge, explaining they had had enough of program organizers taking them for granted.
What we have come together to do as I'll call it a body now, that we will boycott the coverage of proceedings today, just to send a signal to people that no, we need to respect time. So I'm calling on my other colleagues, if you go for a function and that respect is not there, it is 9 o'clock, we wait for about 30 minutes, it's not starting, just seek your permission and then leave.
As much as pressmen are concerned, we work hand in hand with event organizers and institutions like this. But for us to sit from 9 to this time without any form of communication, in fact, personally, I am of the view that this is an insult and we should not take any longer.
Some invited guests were equally not amused that they had been made to wait for so long.
I arrived here around 8:30 this morning from home, but we left home around 4 a.m. Because we were told that by 10 exactly the program will take off. But up to now, so the delay, I cannot tell why the delay. Normally, we Ghanaians, we say African time, but there's no African time. We have to be on time.
It's going to get 10 o'clock. When baby a quarter to 10, she ame jekologololo. She was not to nature amena. Iwo kueming bekpe mondia kesana me bakke wonoko. Koni nyenyele me wona me shekosie. Iwo noni kba funi hie kediake. Oto gbekono na chose mambi na gbene mo fe mo ana to ebo ke noni brofo me chole discipline ke wona no pe ke no fe no ba ya fa.
The program by the Energy Commission was to award certificates to some persons who had undertaken electrical wiring training.
And you're hearing the chief speaking in Ghana just said that we don't have the needed discipline. What do you think we have?
And it's interesting. See, the center of that assignment is missing. Now is the media boycotting it, and I like that. I mean, if you say you're starting a program at a certain time, do it. Don't think it's because of that TNT that you're going to give journalists, so they're going to wait till whatever time that you want to start. I think it's a good signal.
Well, good for you. We still have to stay with energy though, and the Volta River Authority has indicated the current electricity supply challenges being faced by Ghanaians should ease considerably before the Easter festivities. The authority's communications manager, Samuel Fletcher, however, explains the sector would require a $2.2 billion investment if Ghana's energy woes are to be comprehensively addressed.
Communications Director at the Volta River Authority, Samuel Fletcher, ascribed population growth and the demand for power as some reasons for the current energy crisis being experienced in the country.
Demand itself is going up very, very fast. In the last 12 months alone, demand for electricity has shot up by 12%. The previous years, it was anything between 10 and 11%. That is one major reason. Everybody is connecting to the grid. People are building new houses. People are setting up new companies that they will need electricity to operate. People are buying new and heavy appliances. They're all connecting to the same source of electricity. So every year you're looking at about 250 megawatts of power that you need to be able to keep up with that demand.
To mitigate the problem, he indicated that there was the need for government to undertake massive investment in the power sector for its long-term sustainability.
A megawatt of power costs, thermal power, 1 megawatt of power, if you have to build it, it costs $1 million US. So if you are building a capacity of 200 megawatts, that's 200 million. So if you need a capacity, today we are at about 2,800. If we have to get to 5,000, the difference is about 2,200, right? 2,200 times $1 million. That's how much it will cost us. But this is just building plants. You haven't talked about fuel costs. You haven't talked about what we call, maintenance costs, spare parts, all those things.
Meanwhile, officials of the Volta River Authority, as part of its corporate social responsibility, has promised traditional rulers in the 52 resettlement communities of their continued support to improve their standard of living.
One of the major challenges some of our communities are suffering now is lack of safe drinking water. I wish to bring to your attention that the authority, in partnering with Safe Water Network, a non-governmental organization, is embarking on some water projects. Each of the projects will be strategically situated to serve a number of communities at any time in the supply of good drinking water.
Chairman of the National Association of VRA Resettlement Township, Togbi Adumdragi, called on authority to make true its word by providing the resettlement communities with the much-needed social amenities, including potable drinking water, roads, drainage systems, and the yearly compensation packages for their lands. The VRA has meanwhile indicated of plans of upgrading its scholarship scheme to include tertiary students. 20 students are expected to benefit from the scheme this year. The authority has set aside 1.25 million Ghana cedis for its educational project.
Well, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission says there is nothing it can do about the current power crisis consumers are experiencing. Director of Public Affairs and External Relations at the PURC, Nanaya Jantwa, said the current power crisis is not an issue of quality of service. Therefore, it is not within the remit of the PURC. The situation, according to her, is about inadequate gas coming from the West Africa gas pipeline and not an issue of quality of service.
We're now to turn our attention away from energy and focus a lot more on special needs for special children in schools. And the limited number of places available at special schools in Ghana is posing a real challenge to persons with disability who seek to access education. Many, as a result, are forced to attend mainstream schools which do not have the special education facilities and also do not pay attention to special needs. Jojo Kopna tells a story of two hearing impaired children facing such a predicament.
Sign language makes their education easy and fun. With such quality special education, these pupils are assured of equality, and also they can match up to other pupils in mainstream schools. Unfortunately, not all children with such disability have access to special schools. 14-year-old Prince is one of the unlucky ones. His education in mainstream school at Wenchi has left him confused and struggling to catch up. Though he managed to excel in primary school, he now needs special attention. His teachers have advised he attends a special school.
Anytime class is in section, he cannot understand what the teacher says. He always sit down idle, unless you use gestures. But even after using that, he cannot comprehend it properly. He is not performing because he cannot understand what the teacher says. So let's assume that the person whom he sits beside, if that person is clever, then it means that he's going to copy from that person. We've been telling the mother, but ever since he hasn't come out with any tangible reason.
But unfortunately, he can't get access to the Bechem school for the deaf. His sister explains why.
My mother took him to Bechem Special School on several occasions, but authorities did not admit him. They kept telling us there is no space for him.
Prince wants to quit school if he does not gain access to a special school, but that will make him a statistic. Meanwhile, 17-year-old Yaya, who lives in Namasa in the Tyne district of the Brongahafo region, has already become a statistic. He dropped out of mainstream school because teaching and learning was meaningless. Discouraged, he ventured into menial jobs to earn a living. Though he wishes to have special education, his grandmother says she cannot afford. To prove that he was serious about education, he wrote on a paper, "Today is Monday. Where should I go?"
For the past, let's say 1 year, he stopped. There was a time that one of my assistants and myself went to the parents and advised them to send the guy to Bechim. But you know, here there is a reason. We don't have any venture where we can make money, apart from the usual farming activities. So because of that, it's like they are financially weak. So I can see it's because of that situation, that is why the guy is still hanging around.
His grandmother said his grandson really wanted to go to school and wants government to help. Yaya does not think it is too late to get to school. He crossed into a hole where he has been busy since he dropped out of school.
Yaya's education has been cut short because of his disability. In this hole, which is about 9 feet, an estimate, he's deep down there digging pit latrine for other people, and then he's paid just a pittance. So Yaya will just come up right now, so we see him. And I do this because he cannot hear me, so to signal him, I'm just dropping a stone and clapping so that he comes up. So we get to see Yaya, who has quit school because of his disability, and now he's doing menial work just to earn a living.
Meanwhile, Prince is also waiting patiently to get to a special school or receive tutorials in sign language. Jojo Kobna, Joy News.
Well, brilliant reporting there. To Parliament now, the Majority Chief Whip in Parliament has called for amendments to the University Act 2010, cautioning that a failure to do so could result in serious challenges in the near future. Commenting on recent clashes between the University of Ghana and government over its decision to toll its roads, he said the authorities are abusing the institution's powers and must be called to order before others take a cue from it.
The Majority Chief Whip and MP for Asawasi Muntaka Mohammed told MPs he had objected to the clause giving the university powers to refuse entry to persons who are not members when the bill came up for consideration in 2010, but said his request was stood down and the clause was adopted into the Act. He therefore urged the Speaker to recall the University Act for amendment.
If someone is a student, he still has to get a sticker. If someone is an alumni, he has to get a sticker. Meanwhile, the law clearly states who is a member, who is entitled to the privileges, and who can have access to the place. Yet, Mr. Speaker, even now as we sit, a member of parliament cannot have access, even though these are his constituents, these are people who voted for him or her, yet the person cannot have access to the university. By virtue of this, no sticker, no entry. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very important issue. Let's not treat it with kid gloves. If we are not careful, other institutions, not only universities, will begin to raise issues of this nature, and if we are not careful, our country will be plugged into silos.
Ranking member and MP for Second D, Papa Uswankuma, who supported the motion, blamed the government for the current impasse and suggested a committee of inquiry into the matter, which was dissolved by the Speaker a couple of weeks ago, be reinstated.
If the situation has not changed, much as I agree with the Honourable Majority Whip that it's a matter of public concern, I would think that a statement in like nature, which will also be commented on by members, faces the same problem that the referral.
Other members were, however, in disagreement.
But let's leave it at that. The problem is that the people of Ghana...
Order, honorable members, order.
The people of Ghana who are visiting the University of Ghana are complaining. They are complaining that if they don't have a sticker, they would have to pay 400 Ghana cedis before they can get access. 5 members of parliament yesterday were turned away at the University of Ghana, even though the university knew that, and the authorities they knew that they were passing through to do parliamentary duty. They were turned away as members of parliament. Very, very unfortunate, because that itself is a problem, and we all know what the law says. But, Mr. Speaker, I agree with him when he says originally the suggestion would have been that leadership together with the minister...
Yes, honorable member for seconding.
Mr. Speaker, I don't want to appear to be defending the university, but let's get the facts right, because these matters are matters of public knowledge. They were advertised about a month ago.
The first deputy speaker who sat in for the speaker then directed the committee to liaise with the relevant bodies and report to the House. The Deputy Minister of Education, Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, who represented the Minister of Education, was on the floor to answer some questions from members. Emmanuel report from Parliament, Accra.
Well, so that's very action being taken by the University of Ghana, receiving some mixed reactions or opinions from the floor of Parliament. But one person who is very definite on the subject, though, not whether confirming or concurring or whatsoever, the Minister of Education, Professor Joynews Opoku-Agyeman, has given authorities of the University of Ghana 3 days to explain the circumstances under which they are preventing some motorists from entering the university campus. A letter dated March 18, 2014, signed by Deputy Education Minister Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa and addressed to the chairman of the University of Ghana Council, said the minister needs the answers latest by Friday, March 21, 2014. The Minister of Education, pursuant to Section 26, Subsection 4 of the University of Ghana Act 2010, Act 806, respectfully requested that as a matter of urgency, the university submitted a report on the present issues that have risen as a result of the actions of the University of Ghana to regulate access to the premises of the university. The letter stated in part and continued that the Education Ministry has taken note of the public disaffection and controversy created by the university's decision. Authorities of the University of Ghana, following a government directive to suspend the collection of road tolls on campus, introduced a sticker system by which all vehicles using the university's roads are required to have a sticker. A sticker currently costs 400 Ghana cedis and entitles one to drive in and out of the university campus for a period of 1 year. One person who hasn't given me her view about the subject is Mama Viosu Abwade. You stay close by. You use the route sometimes.
Yeah, I use the route sometimes. I mean, I went there over the weekend on Saturday. Okay. Yes, Saturday, and I was turned back. No sticker, no exit. Because I entered through Ponglo and I couldn't exit.
Ponglo. You should have exited.
No, I could exit through Ponglo, but I wanted to join the Gimper Road.
Because of convenience. They're saying that if you have a sticker, then you can go through any of the gates. If you don't have a sticker, please go through Ponglo. It's a strict rule.
You know,
when you go to Burma camp, you can't go through any unauthorized.
Yeah, but that's a military zone. I mean, that's another subject altogether.
Really?
But I want to hear from the MP in the area, Mr. Ejako, who is the MP for
Ayaso. Yeah, he will be in the studio
and he will be here.
I'm sure he'll be supporting it, I'm sure.
Side of the story, because I know that he was trying to meet with the university authorities, because some of his constituents had complained to him. Okay. So after hearing his side, then I'll see.
We'll get to see how that goes as well.
Exactly.
Well, yesterday Chelsea, they were not fortunate. They played really well against Galatasaray.
And then end result?
2-0 against Galatasaray. So Chelsea has qualified for the next round.
So why did you start with? Very unfortunate. They played too well, but I thought it was negative.
Yeah, because everybody and the pundits were thinking Chelsea will not do too well. You know, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I have to start on the negative. But in the meantime, though, we also have Real Madrid also doing so well. We'll bring you all those details. That will be up next in sports.
But we also bring you more on this subject, a proposal to have the National Service personnel serve a compulsory period of time in the Ghana Armed Forces. We're being told that it may see the light of day. Some persons are showing interest, particularly the Ministry of Defense.
Well, we'll see whether that's feasible at all. All up for discussions.
But sports is brought to you by Cowbell. Stay with us. Right, good morning. My name is Avatando. Time now to talk sports. Get see Cowbell. Now, the Black Maidens of Ghana are continuing to raise high the flag of the country. This comes on the back of them winning their second group game in the ongoing FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. Remember that in their first game, they beat People's Republic of Korea 2-0. And then yesterday, they repeated the winning streak, beating Germany by 1-0. So it still leaves them on top of Group B with 6 points, which means that Ghana more or less have a leg in the next stage of the competition. Remember that they played Germany twice in the last edition in Azerbaijan. In the first game, they lost 2-1 to Germany, and then in the second game, which happened to be the third place game, they beat the Germans by 1-0 to win bronze. And last night, they beat the Germans once again by 1-0 to make sure that their progression to the next stage of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup ongoing in Costa Rica is made a mere formality. So some very good news there for Ghana's Black Maidens. Away from that, let's talk beach soccer now. And the Ghana Beach Soccer Association has renewed its sponsorship with headline sponsors CalBank. Now they're smiling all the way to the bank with an amount of $18,000 for a season.
With full discussion, the Ghana Beach Soccer Association has renewed its $18,000. This amount will cover the entire sponsorship package for the 2014 championship season, scheduled to kick off in April, with the association expected to look for additional funding to meet the yearly budget, which is closer to 200,000 Ghana cedis. CalBank's sponsorship, which was brokered by GBSA President Yaw Mpofo-Ankra, has aided the rapid development and growth of beach soccer in Ghana. From just 10 clubs in 2010, the GBSA increased its membership to 20 clubs with over 600 registered beach soccer players in 2011. Ghana participated in her first international beach soccer tournament in 2013 when a team made up of entirely amateur players represented the country in Al Jadid and Morocco for a slot at the 2013 FIFA World Cup. During the 2012-2013 season, 10 championship clubs received an amount of 1,500 Ghana cedis each from the package. The other 10 clubs in Division 1 received 400 Ghana cedis, each also coming from the approved budget. It means the GBSA would have to find other means of sponsorship to sustain the exciting but struggling sport. It's expected that the Ghana Football Association will be guiding the GBSA full throttle in the coming season for the first time.
Right away from that, Ghana Olympic Committee has appointed a new chef de mission in the person of Mr. Chris Esilfi for the upcoming Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland. Benunu Mensah shockingly resigned from post 5 days ago, citing personal reasons, and failed to give in to efforts to get him to rescind his decision. Now, the Olympic Committee, in a press statement yesterday, confirmed Mr. Esilfi, who is an executive member of the committee and immediate past vice president of the Taekwondo Association, as its new chef de mission. So plans are still in place for Ghana to go to Glasgow, Scotland to partake in the Commonwealth Games later in the year. Away from that, let's check out Champions League results of matches that were played last night. Chelsea have qualified to the next stage of the Champions League, so have Real Madrid. Remember that in the first game between Chelsea and Galatasaray, it ended 1-1. And last night at the Stamford Bridge, the Blues beat Galatasaray by 2-0. And then in Spain, at the Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid again, they beat Schalke 04 by 3-1, making it an overall aggregate of 9-2. So Real Madrid, Chelsea progressing to the next stage of the UEFA Champions League. And remember that Ghana have also won their second game in the ongoing FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. Courtesy a goal from Gladys Amphobia, Ghana posted a 1-0 victory over the Germans to make sure that they have qualified to the next stage of the competition. That will do it for sports for this morning. It's brought to you by the courtesy of Cowbell. My name is Baba Tando. The AM show continues unabated after this break. Do stay on.